Hi guys! I'm super excited to be here. Okay, so I thought that since I made a drink on my vlog, some of you asked me what the recipe was, so I thought today I would make my drink on camera. What do you think? There's just ice in here. I put a couple of cranks of salt.
Hopefully no salty sips today.
Then I take lime juice, trusty Meyer brand, and I just put a good, dollop in. A dollop of daisy. I know it's not a dollop, but you know what I'm saying. Then you get yourself a handle of Tito's, and it's called a handle because it has a handle. This is like the biggest bottle you can get. Is it a half gallon? I think it might be, I don't know, it doesn't say. Why wouldn't it say how much? Oh, 1.75 liters. So for all you metric people, is that metric? It's the maths again, not good at that. So then you just pour in. Now keep in mind, the ice is very deceiving and I've already poured in lime juice. And it's a tall, skinny glass. Plus I guess I do pour my drinks a little heavy, right? Because that's how we know it's gonna be a good show. That and I am ramped. So you with me so far? Ice, a little bit of salt, some lime juice, some vodka, and then our trusty grapefruit LaCroix. And for those of you who have never had this is sparkling water with grapefruit flavoring. There's no sweetness to it, which is why I like it. My brother wanted to try it one time, and he thinks it's disgusting and says that it tastes like static. Okay, so all of that looks kind of gross. It looks like spooge on the bottom. Whoa. Have you guys seen American Pie? Stifler? No? My late 90s peeps, no. And then you taste test. Oh yeah, grab your drink. We got shit to talk about. Hi guys, Chevy Rel here, or Chevis is my birth name, but I also go by Chevy Rel. For you OGs, you of course know this. I have gotten quite a few new subscribers.
And lost some.
I'm not everybody's flavor, and that's okay. My middle name is Rel, which is where the Rel comes from. My whole family calls me Chevy from the time I was little. So Chevy Rel just sort of stuck, and I go by that too. But Chevis is, if you ever hear anyone say Chevis, that's me. We are in the stuff room. My camera is like positioned a little weirder in a different spot than normal. I don't know why, but whatever. Usually you can see more over there. This is the stuff room. I have all of my stuff in the stuff room, and it's like heirlooms and all of those types of things. So this is a podcast about, I would say, mostly knitting, maybe, and a bunch of other stuff, because I just like a bunch of things. I crochet and I sew, and I tried weaving for like 5 minutes.
Figured out that wasn't my jam.
You hear some of the things about me attempting to bake things. I am growing my gray out. I talk about that a little bit. I have a dog. He makes annoying appearances sometimes. We are, I think, at the end-ish of the quarantine. Today is April 40th. You guys look. I mean, that's just how I am normal. Sometimes I think people think that it's because I drink, and it's not. Probably helps sometimes. April 30th, which is my dad's birthday. Again, you OGs have met my dad. He's been in some past episodes. Hopefully he will be in more episodes in the future because I miss him so much. If you notice, for y'all today, I put on a bra, I showered, I braided my hair. Normally, I just put mascara on. Today, I put a little tinted chapstick, and I put a little, just like of blush, but you can't really tell. That's what I normally look like, rosy cheeks. I just felt like getting ready. I was looking forward to chatting with you guys today because you guys are kind of like my friends. I get comments from a lot of you guys that say that you feel like you're just bullshitting with a friend in your living room. And even though I'm the one talking to you, I feel the exact same way. Fair warning, this is going to be a long one. I'm going to try to keep my shit together. I do have hella notes. It's a little light on the knitting. I have some sewing. I have a super, super cool stuff room edition that was sent to me by a viewer. You guys are going to freak out. I freaked out. I squealed a little bit, not even lying. And then I'm going to bullshit some at the end just because I can, and some of you guys like that. Even though I've been bullshitting for a lot of minutes already. Okay, one more sippy. Let's get into the stuff. We'll start with FOs. Look at my notes. Look at my notes. I even have them on a clipboard because I'm a fucking professional. Look at my old school knitting sticker. I just had to pick that up because my first FO is under it. Okay, Angie B, if you're watching and you haven't already received this, because I don't know how, like, if you'll watch this or not before you get it, skip ahead some because I'm going to talk about this. Okay, bye. We're just going to have to listen to Ditto play in the background. It's either that or him run amok in here. Okay, look. Isn't it cute? It's so precious. This is a free pattern. The dress is something that I can't pronounce. Somebody told me. I think that this loosely translates. Look at my awesome manicure. Can we just talk about that for a minute? I mean, I did get ready today, but I didn't do that. I think this loosely translates to summer dress. It's in a bunch of different languages. It is a beginner pattern as far as the techniques go, but it is not a beginner pattern as far as you need to have some knitting background in pattern reading. Hey now. Rude. For instance, if you're doing a top-down raglan, which is what this is, it will tell you, knit so many, do this kind of increase for the raglan shaping, blah, blah, blah. On this one, it just says do your raglan increases. So you have to, yeah. And then down here where the ruffles are, it says double your stitches. I just did a front and back because it's easy. I mean, if you're not a knitter with a little bit of experience, not necessarily an experienced knitter, you wouldn't know what that means. I could see where it would be frustrating. The back has this little keyhole closure, I think. Is that what they call that? And then I put my little, where is it? I put my little tag on it. I ordered it's upside down. I ordered these off Etsy. I will link them. Oh, I put them in the show notes. Look at me go. The Leather Goods Company on Etsy, and they will be linked below. So this is going to, I'm just assuming all of you know who Angie B is. Angie B has not podcasted in a very long time, but she has had a podcast called The Knitter Next Door. She is due in all of her baby bump cuteness in May. I was going to buy some leggings to go with this cute little dress. This is the 3 to 6 month size, which for those of you who spawn offspring, I know nothing. I'm sorry. Work's texting me. Working from home, so I have to take work texts, What was I talking about now? 3 to 6 month size. I don't know if that's like I was trying to hold I was trying to go like this. I have no idea. I'm hoping that this is like tunicky and not like to their ankles, but whatever. I could not find any leggings that I liked. So I went on the hunt for some fabric, and it should be here on Saturday, and I'm going to sew her some leggings. Now, we'll talk about sewing later. You'll see that's not something that comes particularly easy to me. I do want to thank everyone. I did mention that the last time. I want to thank everyone who gave me some suggestions in the comments on leggings. I'm going to look at them and kind of pick one. Maybe there'll be some leggings next time. I did some crochet blocks. I am working my way through 200 crochet blocks. This is a book by Jan Eaton. It's linked below. I am going all the way through. This is kind of what it looks like on the inside. My next square is 37. So I've done 36 squares. Let me actually look at what this one's named. I don't normally go too into detail. Oh, it's just called Pretty in Pink, which mine is not pink. The reason that I wanted to talk about it, for all you crocheters, this will probably make sense to you. I blocked the shit out of this. And it is wonky. Look at it. It is wonky AF. So what you do, you cast on all these and then you decrease in the middle to come down to make it a square. Well, it's like wonky AF. It just is. I mean, it'll be fine in a blanket, but that is not my favorite way to do a square. I was not impressed with it at all. For those of you who are new here, these are just all my fingering weight scraps that I'm using, and I just pull them out. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, I kind of put them together a little bit, but it's a hodgepodge. So then I did this one. It has bobbles. I actually wasn't paying attention, and there's an extra row of bobbles in there, according to the pattern. I did this one, and this one was my favorite. Look at that. First off, those are my colors. Those are my colors. And that was a lot of fun to do. These are like clusters. Those will go up on my little shelf up there of all my, I have a shelf of crochet squares. Okay, my next FO is sewing. Now, let's just talk about this. Well, first, let me see here. I have these out of order how I want to show them. So first, I'm going to tell you a story. I do believe that I've told this story already. It was a very long time ago. For all you binge watchers, thank you. I know there's a bunch of people home on quarantine that's binge watched all the episodes, so y'all get to hear me say things again and again and again because I forget what I talk about, even from week to week. Many years ago, my Aunt Jean passed away. Now, my Aunt Jean was married to my grandpa's brother, who is still living, my Uncle Ralph. And they're awesome. Well, Aunt Jean was crafty and her kids not so much. So when they found all of her crafting stuff, they asked my mom if I would be interested in it. And of course I said, yes. So I just got this box of all this crafting stuff, and she sewed too, and I'm going through it and blah, blah, blah. In that box, there was a sweater that she had started for a baby in this like white acrylic from, who knows what year. The magazine was from 1968. I have no idea what the yarn was, but it was very old. And she had just the sleeves done. So I'll insert a picture of the magazine and the sleeves, how I got them. So Aunt Jean knit the sleeves, and I wanted to finish the sweater because it just so happened that when I got the stuff, my cousin Erin, who Aunt Jean would be her grandma, was pregnant or just had a little girl. Maybe she just had a little girl. And I thought it would be super cool to finish the sweater and give it to Erin as something like, hey, I finished this, but you can tell the kids that her great-grandma Jean great-grandma Jean, my Aunt Jean, great-grandma Jean knit the sleeves for her. So I finished it. This is the finished product. I did alter the pattern. The original pattern was meant to be quilted the whole thing. I just did a panel down the front because I don't like matchy-matchy, and I had to give it my own flair. Erin eventually ended up having another girl, and both girls got to wear them on Easter, on Easter, and Erin sent me pictures. So Erin will forever be knit-worthy according to me. Now, within that craft stuff, I told you this is going to be long. I have so much stuff to say. Within that craft box, she had 2 quilt tops. And this is what I think that I've talked about, and it's been so long I don't remember. What I did is I sandwiched the quilt tops, and realized that I am not a quilter. Like at all, not even a little bit. I am not a quilter. It was backbreaking. It was not enjoyable. Thank God for Mama Jean, who is like a master quilter. She quilted and bind it, whatever she finished it. She finished it for me. I gave her the sandwiched quilts, and one I gave to Uncle Ralph, who is still living, but in bed, like he's bedridden. I mean, gosh, you guys, he's 96, but he's in bed at home. So the quilt was perfect. And then I kept the other quilt, and Mama Jean finished both of them for us. So let me show you this quilt real quick. This is the quilt top that Aunt Jean had. And then I picked pink, and Uncle Ralph got a green backing, which I pulled from that fabric. Now, as far as the quilting goes on this, and like I said, I'm sure that I've probably shown this before. As far as the quilting goes on this, I gave Mama Jean artistic freedom. For any of you who are for all of those of you who are quilters, she got these like really cool rulers that I guess you can do like this stuff with and this stuff. So I just told her I didn't care how she quilted it at all, and if she wanted to use it for practice on techniques to do that. So every square is different. Well, I was looking for some fabric to sew Dan a mask, I think, and I happened to find this. What? Look how cute it is! Okay. So let me put this up. I have no idea what the fabric is. It's not denim. The only thing that needed done is the waist. I would have liked like a thick set-in waist, but I asked my friend Tara, who I'll tell you more about in a minute. Look here, belt. Hold on, let me sit down. Who I'll tell you more about in a minute. And my knitters. I asked them on one of our VKNs how to finish it because I didn't understand. There was like no opening. It was just all raw up here. And they were like, well, it's meant to have elastic. It's an elastic waistband. I'm like, I don't want it to be an elastic waistband. And they were like, well, the only way to make it not an elastic waistband is to like take all the panels apart and like put a zipper in and blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't feel like messing with that. So the bitch got an elastic waistband. And then I did a zigzag hem at the bottom. As soon as I saw this skirt, you guys, look at the pockets. Look how cute. Are these called set-in? I don't even know. You can kind of see the pockets. Now, as soon as I saw this skirt, I knew that I wanted it to be high-waisted with a thick belt, and I wanted to wear it with a fitted t-shirt. This is my YarnCon t-shirt from like a lot of years ago. I don't even know how many years ago. And I wanted to wear my clogs. And you know, you guys remember these socks, right? I ordered a Janis Joplin t-shirt and a belt that actually, you know, will fit correctly and is wider. This is actually my Grandpa Russell's belt from like the 70s, so I thought that it fit, you know. And then my clogs, I gotta have my clogs on. I always gotta spin when I have my clogs on. I finished that skirt, which really wasn't sewing because Aunt Jean did all the work. All I had to do was hem the bottom and sew elastic into it at the top. So there you have that. So like I said, I have a Janis Joplin t-shirt coming and a better belt, and I'm really excited about this skirt. Then I'm also going to knit crop sweaters to wear with it. The other thing that I sewed, I signed up for Creativebug. I have been a member of Creativebug before, and I kind of like turn it off and turn it on. For those of you who don't know what that is, I think it's like $7 or $8 a month, somewhere in there. And you can take a bunch of classes on a bunch of different kinds of stuff. They have sewing and knitting and cooking and art and photography. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you can do on there. Very worth the money if you are, of course, tech savvy enough to take the classes. There's a video, there's printed materials for the things. And I did a boxy tee by Calpatch, which my friend Tara sent me a link for. And she's actually the one who told me, oh, and you can do a 7-day trial on Creativebug if you want to check it out, just to see if you think it'll work for you. She is sewing designer, and she has a class on there that shows you how to not only sew this boxy tee, but to draft your own pattern based on your measurements. It was a great class. First off, I want to say I'm super, super, super lucky to have friends like my friend Tara, who is good at that stuff. Like, Tara is not only this like wealth of knowledge when it comes to stuff like that, basically anything homemaking, crafting, canning, baking. I mean, she knows all the things. She also is like your biggest cheerleader. So when I wanted to throw this across the room and scream fuck at the top of my lungs, she was talking me off a cliff, because it did fight me. It did fight me. So first, I'm going to show you the muslin, which Dan would say inanimate objects cannot fight you, but in my family, they do. Like, shit grows legs and jumps off counters and stuff. I'm not even kidding. When you sew, for those of you who aren't into sewing, sorry if you find this super boring, but if anything, maybe this will make you not want to sew. Maybe this is not something you should watch. When you sew, much like in knitting, you knit a swatch, right? To see your gauge, to make sure that it fits. If your gauge is off in knitting, your garment is not going to fit you per the pattern. Well, in sewing, they have you sew what's called a muslin, which is usually out. They have super cheap fabric that looks similar to this in different weights at Joann. So you can, and it's cheap. I mean, it's like a couple bucks a yard. And you're supposed to do a mock-up of your size to make sure that you like the way it fits. And if you do, great. And if you don't, then you have not cut into your good fabric that you're using to make the garment. Now, I do have to say, the reason that this boxy tee came about is because y'all know that I have the Hinterland dress and that I have wanted to sew that damn thing forever and wear it with crop sweaters. So I pulled the pattern out the other day before this and was super overwhelmed. I can sew, but it takes a whole lot of brain power for me. It's not something that comes easy. It's not the sewing part. Much like quilting, you know, the quilting part's easy. It's the piecing and the rest of the stuff that's like not easy. In sewing, it's the cutting. It's the laying out and the cutting of the fabric, and it gets me every time, and that's like a big part of what effed me up with this whole thing. So I totally got off on a tangent. What was I even talking about? Anyway, I made the muslin. She shows you exactly how to take your measurements and make the muslin, and I absolutely love it. So I'm tripping over my bottle of vodka. Now, on the muslin, you don't do any of the finishing. All this is to see if you like the fit of the final garment, right? This is going to be blown out. I don't know how to make it not blown out. I like the way this is fit. I might make the neck bigger, but I like where the sleeves hit me, you know, in like a real soft linen. Now, of course, I have clothes on under this. With a cute pair of jeans or a cute pair of pants, I wanted mine longer, whatever. I really liked the way that this fit. So I was happy with the muslin. And she, in the class, like, I don't want to be that person that bitches, but I kind of wanted to say something. In the class, it does ask you at the end if you had any thoughts on it. And I was so upset. It's me, it's not you sort of deal. But with the classes, Cal Patch went into like full detail on the muslin and how to cut these two big pieces of fabric, right? Full detail. Then it goes to the actual shirt and it completely skips the cutting out of the fabric, which I guess I didn't really think anything of, but it's completely different. So here is my shirt. This is my boxy tee. This on the muslin is all one piece. But when you go to cut for the pattern, this is one piece, this is one piece, this is one piece, and same with the back. Well, because she doesn't show you how to cut the fabric, and that's the hardest part for me in sewing, I effed up both the front and the back as far as on the fold. You know, usually when you buy a sewing pattern, it will say on the edge, well, hold on, let me get you my pattern, just a second. Okay, there are probably people in here going, I don't give a shit about sewing, but sorry, not sorry. I lived through this and you get to too. Okay, first off, how I do this is I just take printer paper and tape it together, and that's how she shows you how to make the measurements and all that jazz, right? So this was the muslin, my pattern for the muslin. When you get an actual sewing pattern, most often, for instance, the Hinterland pattern, which why can't I think of her name right now? So Liberated. I'm forgetting her name. Like this stands for center front, and Cal Patch has you do that, but I feel like it would have saved me a lot of headache if I would have also put on the fold here, because if it's folded, yeah, I didn't do that, because then she has you, I can't even talk words. This thing made me so mad. To cut out these pieces, she has you cut it like this, right? So then when you cut it, you then have to add your seam allowance here. On the first one, I didn't have enough. So I remembered my seam allowance. So I did that, and I just did like a decorative stitch down the center panel. And that's because I didn't have a big enough piece for the front panel. The back panel, I would have had a big enough piece, but I was so frustrated by then that I didn't cut it on the fold, and I did not take into consideration. I forgot. I just forgot. I forgot to cut it on the fold because it wasn't marked. So I had to I added a panel in there, which whatever. Then it has these pockets. I have this cute little mushroom fabric that I absolutely love. I do not like this shirt. I don't like it. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but I don't love it as much as I wanted to love it. Here's the other thing. This, whatever that is, on the pattern, I misread it, so this is partially my fault, I think. I still don't know if that would correct whatever it's doing right there, whatever that is, how it's like standing up. So this is bias tape in here, and that's how she recommends doing the collar, because this is just a folded hem, but she said like around the curve it would be wonky, so she does a bias tape. Well, it said in the pattern 1/2 inch single fold, and I did a 1/2 inch double fold. Hi babe, what's up? Did you work out? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Love you, bye. Bye. So what that means is I did a 1/2 inch double fold, which means that when it's folded over, it's a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch single fold would be when it was folded over. It's a 1/2 inch not folded over. So if it was folded over, it'd only be a 1/4 inch. And I messed that up. But still, I feel like even if this was a 1/4 inch, it would still do that funky thing around the neck. Like, I just don't like it. So that's my last FO that I'm like way not happy with. And I don't know. I just feel like whenever I sew things, I'm not in love with them. And I'm so scared to sew the Hinterland dress because I'm just not in love with anything that I sew. And it bums me out. You know, in knitting, you can rip it out and re-knit it. Like, I know that that's not ideal. You don't want to knit the same sweater again. But you've spent, say, $100 on the yarn, and you can rip it out and re-knit it to fit you if you really want it. Sewing, once you cut your fabric, you're SOL, man. I own this shirt now. Like, there it is. So that is it for my FOs. You know what's next. Whips! Which I only have 2 of. The first one, which this fought me too, but it was totally my own fault. My Boxy Chevron. There we go. Which, to all my podcasting friends, I just have to say, every single time you say Chevron, I feel like you're getting ready to say my name. Chevy, Chevrel, Chevis, Chevron, every time I hear it. But this is the Boxy Chevron by Suzanne Sommer. I am, of course, doing things differently than the pattern. I did choose the bias sleeve, which means there's a point instead of a straight sleeve, and I added length. I got both sleeves done. Some of you may have seen this on Instagram. I was blow drying them last night because I was so excited to have them done. I have both sleeves. Look at that. Look! Okay, the last time y'all saw these, they were right here. This is a little stitch marker that Christy, Crochet Creations by Christy, sent me a card. I do have to tell you guys, and I feel bad, but I get cards and I don't always show all the cards that I get. But I do always try to let you guys know that I've received them. I'll look you up on Instagram or Ravelry if I can find you on there and shoot you a message. But like, I couldn't find Christy, and then I felt bad because she asked me if I got it, and I was like, shit, yes, I'm so sorry. So if you send me something, send me where I can find you. So Christy, you have Crochet Creations by Christy. I'm not sure if you have like a website where you sell your crochet stuff. Let me know. Put it in the comments below in case other people want to. Hello. Hi. Oh. No. What are you doing?
Bring me a drink. You said grab your drink.
Well, top me off. That's why I kept it in here. I mean, don't top me off, but... Okay, thanks. That's good. Dan. Thank you, baby. Anyway, so Christy, if you sell your wares, link it below in the comments so that people can find you. Crochet Creations by Christy sounds like maybe you do, but I don't know where to find you. In the card that she sent me this super cute little owl, Progress Keeper. That's the last place that, oh, that'd be kind of cool. That would work as a center panel, wouldn't it? I knit these 4 times, I'm not even kidding. Some of you asked me on Instagram, because I said that I had to rip it out and re-knit it again. What I did is this inside goes from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8. Well, I went from 2 to 6. So all these that were supposed to be 4, I only did 2 rows. Like a dumbass. And you couldn't really see it on Instagram because they weren't blocked. But I knew as soon as it was blocked that you'd be able to. So this is how it's constructed. You knit, which is going to be really hard. So you knit the sleeves first, because that's how they'll be. And it calls for this pop color. That's what I picked for my color pop. There's robins doing it in my driveway. The robins here, you guys, are so Twitter-pated. So Twitter-pated. They're so cute to watch. But Ditto is losing his mind. This next step, right, from what I gather, is you sew this, attach this to a certain, which look at that bat wing right there. That's going to be a little snug, I think. And I even went up a size in the sleeve from like the other size. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like I usually go up in the arms because bitch got some guns. flabby ones. But my arms, my biceps are bigger than like the rest of me. So that's something that I always have to go up in a pattern. It said you'll sew the sleeves and then somehow you pick up around here and then I'll knit the body with the rest of the Tuscan. I've said what this yarn is. I know the blue is cyan. Lots of people liked that color. I think is it Mad Tosh? I don't know. It's on my last episode. I'll say it again. It's linked in the show notes. There you go. And then this is the Tucson colorway, Dreamin' Color Colossal Sock from Simply Socks Yarn Company, which I think a little birdie told me that they will be getting some more of that in, which is a hell of a deal. So I always post it in my stories when she posts it to send you guys over because, you know, Simply Socks is like basically amazing and shit. I feel like I'm talking a lot more about things than I normally talk about, but I also feel like a lot of times I just blow over stuff and you guys might want to know some of those things in case you want to knit them. I've pretty much been not a monogamous knitter, but I am so excited about that sweater. It's the only thing that I want to knit on. My next whip is for the 80s Mal, but I think this would work for the 80s Mal as well. And I knit a lot of this sleeve while we watched The Wizard. Does anyone remember The Wizard from like 1980 something with Fred Savage? It's Nintendo, NES, Super Mario 3 was unveiled for the movie. Yeah, so I think that these are some 80s colors. So it's sort of cool that like both the things I'm knitting works for the 80s. I will also be talking more about movies at the end if any of y'all are interested in that. What the 80s Mal is, for those of you who don't know, is we are co-hosting. Oh my gosh, look at me. I've totally, really, stand by. Why did I stop in the middle of a row? What was I doing that I stopped in the middle of a sock row on Magic Loop to boot? Like in the middle of two socks. What was I thinking? I wonder if alcohol was involved. Very well could have been. I'm just going to finish it to the end of the row because there's no way that I can show this to you like this. Nee, noo, nee, noo, nee, noo, noo. I don't know how those people that podcast and knit do it. Could you imagine? This is a shit show most of the time, and I don't knit. These are kind of Franken socks. I don't really know how to explain it. First off, they are for the 80s Mal. That I am co-hosting with Beth of the Shadows and Purls podcast. This is her brainchild, her idea. She just finished a crop top. Betty Ann, are you jealous? You need a crop top. Betty Ann is Scott's mom. Scott and John are the Sweet Tea No Shade guys. For those of you who don't watch them, you should. They're a lot of fun. And Betty Ann is a knitter. I think she might cross stitch too. She does some crafty things, but they always talk about how she likes crop tops. And Scott just bought yarn. If you watch them, he bought an 80s inspired yarn name for the 80s make along. And I think he said he was going to make something for Betty Ann. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it's a crop top. A crap top. What better for the 80s Mal than my little worm? I said hello from the Labyrinth. This is Deep Dyed Yarn Company, Deep Dyed Fibers, Stephanie, in the unicorn horn colorway. I did a rounded toe that I found a free pattern for on Ravelry. I will link those below. I'm really liking them. I think it's going to fit great. I am a toe up, two at a time magic looper. That's how I do my socks. The last time y'all saw it, it was right here. So that's how much I've gotten since the last time you've seen it. I usually do 2 progress keepers. I'll do the one for you guys since the last time you saw it. And then I do one for myself. So that's how many I knit. I think this was a drunken FaceTime with my best friend. And that might be why I stopped in the middle of a row. What else do I want to say about these? I am doing slouchy socks. scrunchy socks. I think I called them scrunchy socks, and it was unanimous in the comments on the last episode that y'all called them slouchy socks. I am using, let me see what it is, the Carmen's shopper socks. It's a free pattern, loosely. It will be linked in the show notes. She does a top down, and I don't want to do top down. So all I'm doing is I'm going to knit the leg per her pattern, but the rest of it I'm doing per mine. So I'm doing that rounded toe that I'll link in the show notes. I'm just doing my foot, which for my size, to do a fish lips kiss heel, I'm a size 9. I think it's like 7 3/4. And then I'll do a fish lips kiss heel. And then I'll do, once I get into the slouch part of it, I'll do the Carmen's shopper leg. If you all want to participate in the 80s Mal, not only is Beth from Shadow and Purls a co-host, but also Bente from Arctic Yarns by Bente, Arctic Crafts by Bente. She also has a podcast. She has some awesome colorways for the 80s. She was not a little kid in the 80s. She was like a teenager in the 80s. I need a drink. Oh my gosh, you guys, this episode is going to be hella long. You're going to have to watch it in pieces if you continue to watch it at all. Whoo! Oh my God, there's plenty of vodka in that. I wasn't ready for that. Oh my. Whew. Is this as good as a martini episode? First off, I'm all over the map. If you want to join the 80s Mal, it is hashtag 80s Kids Mal. Make along. So you don't have to knit. You can make anything. The only thing is, you have to sell us on why you think it's the 80s. Are you knitting some leg warmers because we wore leg warmers in the 80s? Are you knitting something neon because we wore neon in the 80s? Did you buy some yarn that's named Mixtape from Bente, which is totally an 80s thing? Did you buy a pattern that's called like Footloose? Anyway, sell us on the 80s. Hashtag it 80s Kids Mal. Also, you can triple dip because there's 2 other co-hosts. So go over to Beth at Shadows and Purls and see how she wants you to enter. And go over to ArcticCrafts Podcast by Bente. They'll be linked to see how she wants you to enter. To enter my part of the make-along, I will be drawing from Instagram, hashtag 80s Kids Mal. Now, I have added, right now, impromptu, let me just make a note, added for an extra entry. You're hearing it here first, folks. For an extra entry in the 80s Kids Mal. If you have your FO, and I'll be able to see if it's an FO, you need to have your FO done by July 1st. Plenty of time. This started on the 1st. Some of you may have already started. You have plenty of time to do this. July 1st, I will be looking at the hashtag. An FO gets an entry, and for a bonus entry, same hashtag, add a picture of you in the 80s. Your best 80s picture. And this is mainly, 80s kids are cute, right? Like, we're super cute. I'll see if I can find like an 80s picture of me being all cute. Bente, because she was like a teenager in the 80s, those are going to be the best. Big hair. One of you commented, and I apologize, I forget who it was, but one of you commented that you straight up had the little ankle socks with the lace and the high heels. I want to see some Aquanet hair. Show me your best 80s picture. And even those of you who aren't participating in the make-along but are on Instagram, how much fun is that hashtag going to be to look at? So please add those. You'll get an extra entry on my side for that because I'm super excited about it because I love me the 80s. What else do I want to say? Oh, my little I was going to mention this. My little worm from the labyrinth. I said hello, him. Angie B made me that. She also was the first one, the only one, but I can't believe that I didn't catch it either. The hashtag is 80s Kids Mail. I keep pointing down here, but I do it up here now. 80s Kids Mail. And she was like, I can't not see skids. 80s Kids Mail. She also, for those of you who saw the growler episode, a beer growler. In the States, when you get craft beer, you can go get a big jug, which I'll show you a picture. You get a big jug, and it's a growler. It's called a growler. Well, Angie B let me know that in the UK, a growler has a completely different meaning. If you want to know what it means, you'll have to Google that yourself. Next, speaking of Arctic Crafts by Bente, not only does she have a podcast, she is a yarn dyer. I have a future cast on planned. It is for the Swallowtail by Jaime Hoffman. This is an $8 pattern. It was gifted to me by my friend Tara, who's the one I said is like so awesome to talk me off a cliff when I'm attempting to sew. She gifted this to me for my birthday, and I have been on the hunt for yarn for it. And not on the hunt for yarn. Hey, dude! If you knocked that over, I'm pretty sure I'd have to choke. Get away from there! This is why I couldn't have real children, you guys. Pretty sure I'd beat them. I wouldn't really beat them. I'd want to. I wouldn't. But, okay, so I was trying to pick my colors for the Swallowtail. Get away from there! Gosh, that's that mirror on the last, remember that on the last episode, it made that noise? He nose bumps it. Okay, I was trying to pick my colors. I have been obsessed with this mustard yellow color. I've been obsessed with it. I knew that I wanted that as a color. And I knew that I wanted to buy some yarn from Bente. I looked and she has this color called Antique Copper, which I'll post here. So then I was on the hunt for colors to go with it. And I found a palette that I liked on Pinterest, which is this. And this is my future kitchen, actually. These are my future kitchen colors. At least that's what, if I ever get my kitchen, because life keeps happening. But if I ever get my dream kitchen, this is my color palette. So my Swallowtail, I had this like absurd vision of my kitchen being done and me standing in it for a photo shoot wearing my Swallowtail sweater. Okay, so then I had my color palette, right? Add charcoal to that for the butterfly part. I needed to figure out what order I wanted the colors in. Well, I'm a visual, so I had to see it visually. So I got out my trusty sketchbook. Some of you have seen this on Instagram. And I sketched it. This was the first one. In here, this will be like a speckle. See how I kind of did? I was testing my colors. The white part will be a speckle. This is what I settled on. Bente saw this on Instagram. I mean, I freaking love her. Bente is in Norway also. I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana, basically, outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana. She's in Norway. I mean, somebody needs to figure out this teleportation thing. It's a bunch of BS that they haven't figured it out yet. Because I want to hang out with Bente, damn it. She saw this and made a colorway kind of based on these colors. I'll put it here, called Grab Yo Drink. Dude, she named a colorway, Grab Yo Drink. What? So we started talking back and forth. And I told her that I wanted to use her, the whole thing was based on her antique copper colorway. Dude, she dyed me yarn for my sweater. As I am speaking, it is on its way here from Norway. Norway. You guys should follow her on Instagram or her podcast. She shows it on her podcast too. Her view, it's like watery, snowy mountains. I can't believe, I can't imagine. Okay, for those of you who aren't from the States and don't know anything about Indiana, is flat. Flat. And in the summer, there's corn. And that's what we've got. So to walk out and see a mountainscape, my friend Karen, Sassy Karen, Some of you might follow her on Instagram. She's in Montana. She also has this like beautiful mountain view. Yeah, we do not have those things here. It's very, very boring and flat. It's not as flat as Kansas. Kansas is real flat. That is my future knitting. So hopefully the next time I record, you'll be able to see that awesomeness. Okay, next. I have a couple gifts. The 2 Purls in a Pod podcast. Cheryl and Becky. I've talked about them a bunch. I met them at Sodders. I was supposed to hang out with them at Black Swamp, and I didn't get to because this stupid COVID thing happened and all of the fiber events got canceled. Cheryl got a hold of me and was like, hey, I had something to give you at Black Swamp, and since, we didn't get to see you, I just want to mail it to you. You guys, they did 3 peas in a pod because they interviewed me at Sodders. Well, not interview. They didn't interview me. That was dumb. I sat in on their video at Sodders. I love it. It's so stinking cute. And then they know that I am a camper, that we are campers. And they made me this. Well, I think Cheryl did. She didn't say who made it. I don't know if Cheryl or Becky, because I think Becky makes these. You'll have to let me know, Cheryl. One of them made me this. There's little it's beads and it's cross-stitched. Oh my gosh, it's so stinking cute. It's going to live on my train case. See that, my butterfly? That was a gift as well. This will live. And my F-bomb, see my F-bomb? I mean, Bob Barker bitches be jealous of this awesome manicure. Then Billie, the Crafty Floridian. She crochets, she sews, she has a podcast. She will be linked below. There is her email. I don't think that, hey, ditto, your toenails are sort of distracting. I think maybe you have to email her, but she sews bags. She sent me a sympathy card for Miss Olive. For you new viewers, we just lost our pug in February. She was kind of the little show's mascot. A friend made me this badass coaster. That is Miss Olive. All the OGs know her. She was awesome. And she sent me a bag because she makes bags. I've also have other bags. She sent me another bag in the past, as well as some like rice bags that are awesome. But she said she wanted to make me a bag to remind me of Miss Olive, and that is this bag. And I do not have a pug bag. Look how cute. Which, did you guys see the first dog tested positive for COVID? And it is a pug with like its tongue hanging out the side of its mouth. Anyway, here is her label. Why could I not think of that word? Her label. There is a pocket on the inside that is also pugs. There are beads on the drawstrings, which I love. That makes it so easy. And she has a progress keeper on there with a little heart that says made with love. I mean, how stinking cute is that? And then there's another progress keeper on this side, and that says, I will hold you in my heart until I hold you in heaven. So thank you so much, Billie. That was awesome. I love it. And then I just got done saying that I don't always show cards, but this card is like super awesome from Carrie. Those of you who know Carrie know she made me that antique sock blocker. She like wrapped yarn around it, and I hold all my pins there, which you'll see some pins in a minute. But she made me this awesome card. She is multi-craftual as well. Look how stinking cute that is. First off, I love mushrooms. She watercolored, which I cannot do. I have tried and tried and tried. And it says, instead of a sign that says do not disturb, I need one that says already disturbed, proceed with caution. Hashtag me. So thank you, Carrie. Okay, you guys. This, I don't want to call it a gift. I mean, I suppose it's a gift, but I kind of look at it as the universe knew that it needed to live in the stuff room. That's how I see this. Let me get it. Hold on just a second. I should say let me get her. Teresa, who is a viewer in Texas, messaged me on Instagram and said that she has a doll from her childhood, and everyone in her family thinks that this doll is creepy AF and they don't want it. But Teresa loves it. Like, this was her doll. Like, she loved it. And she was so worried to think that this doll was not going to be loved because nobody really wanted this creepy doll. And she knows that I like creepy things. I mean, I like all things, right? Like, this is sort of, first off, what better place to have a misfit than in the stuff room? I mean, this is like the island of misfit toys. And I said, of course she can come live here. She will totally enjoy the stuff room. There are all sorts of misfits who live in the stuff room. Look at her. You guys, look how precious she is. You guys will have to tell me if you know her. She sent me a letter on her, and she sent me these buttons from the 70s or 80s. She wasn't sure which ones, but those will go, right? Are those up my alley or what? Those will go on my sock blocker that Carrie made me. She sent me a picture of what she looked like in the box, and she is called Little Miss No Name. And then she also sent me a picture of her holding her as a little girl. And she loves this doll, which as do I. So I had to do some research, and this is what I found out. Her name's Little Miss No Name. She's like a little pauper beggar doll, obviously. And on the box, it said, I need someone to love me. I want to learn to play. Please take me home with you and brush my tear away. This is was made by Hasbro for a year, you guys. It was like, it came out in 65, and I think it was on the shelves from like 66 to 67. She came in this little burlap dress. She had these big sad eyes, and she comes with this headband, which a lot of them don't have the headband. And she has this little tear, which is removable. Now, this one is a replacement. Teresa kept apologizing because she made this. And I'm like, it's fine. But that's not her original tear. Now, there's a little hole behind there. The original tear you could take out because you're supposed to wipe her tear away, right? So a lot of the tears are lost. The other research that I did said that the bottom of her feet are often broken and hers are pristine. So you can totally tell, and the wig is replaced a lot of times and the headband is missing, which she has. This is her original dress. You can totally tell she was loved. And I love that she is going to live in the stuff room now. Little Miss No Name. The thing that I thought was so funny is Hasbro brought this out as a potential, I want to say consumer, what's the word? Competitor of Barbie, which of course that was never going to happen, right? And they said the reason is that most little girls wanted pretty dolls, and she was creepy. Like, people think she looks creepy. Plus, think about the marketing of it. And even my best friend was like, Barbie's got careers. I said, that's actually one of the things that the internet said about it. She has all these wardrobes and houses and cars, and there's all these like marketing upsells, whereas this little girl doesn't even have shoes. So she kind of flopped in the market department. Like, she pulls at your heartstrings. So I love that she is going to have a little place here in the stuff room. So Teresa, thank you so much for thinking that she would love it here, and she's totally gonna. I'm just going to sit her in this chair right here for now. Dolls do not creep me out at all. And I love all things like creepy, unique, weird. That is all so totally up my alley. This is the last section. I'm calling it Miscellaneous. If y'all are still knitting and drinking and want to listen to me ramble about some movies and some other stuff that I've been doing in quarantine, I am loving quarantine. It's weird that I got ready today with my wiry gray hair. Dan calls these battle braids. Dan's like a triathlete. Running and biking are his thing. He constantly is training for something. And he follows some hot chick on Instagram, I guess. I don't know who she is, but she calls these battle braids. So when I braided my hair, he's like, oh, you have battle braids in. I'm like, what? Apparently battle braids are a thing. Some of you might know her if you're all triathletes. I put on Instagram a while ago, I was working and I got this, not everyone believes in this stuff, but I do. I got the strongest smell of tapioca. And that is my Grandma Peg. My Grandma Peg always made warm tapioca. It will forever until the day I die remind me of Grandma Peg. I know that smell. It was 100% Grandma Peg making tapioca or telling me to make tapioca. So I straight up, like I got up then and made tapioca. I always have it. And then that made me thinking, my Grandma Nada, she would do cook and serve pudding. I did chocolate cook and serve pudding. And then you put a spoonful of peanut butter in it when it's still warm. So good. And I can still, no. Oh, absolutely not. Ditto wants Little Miss No Name. No. That's a negative. Do you have a white spot on you? He's getting a white hair. Your face is turning white. You're only 3, old man. He sees the Twitter-pated robins and wants to eat them. Yeah, I know. It's so hard being a ditto. He sidetracks me constantly. Grandma Nada, I can still see her using her finger to scrape the peanut butter off into the pudding in the little custard dishes. And then the other thing that she would do is vanilla with chocolate chips, except she called them chocolate bits. I've been channeling my grandmas here lately. The other thing I've been doing is watching movies, and I love it so much. So my cousin Jana is big into movies as well. The Sweet Tea No Shade guys. Sweet Tea No Shade, I talked about them earlier. They're in love with Angela Lansbury right now. So I've been on an Angela Lansbury kick as well. So I'm just going to run off some of the movies that maybe you guys want to watch while you are in quarantine, because I'm having so much fun doing it myself. I watched Blue Hawaii, which Angela Lansbury's in. She is Elvis Presley's mom. I had never seen an Elvis Presley movie before. It is so terrible. Angela Lansbury plays Elvis Presley's mom, and I love Angela Lansbury. It is a terrible character. The mom plays she is a terrible character. I enjoyed the movie, but it was so, oh my gosh, you guys, like Elvis spanks a teenager because she's being a brat. They have a butler. Elvis Presley's parents have money, and they have a butler named Ping Pong. Like, how politically incorrect is that? It was real interesting. I read all the IMDb trivia, which is one of my all-time favorite things to do. That was sort of the model of movie that they based the rest of Elvis's movies off of. Like, he goes to some faraway tropical place with a bunch of young girls around or something. So, and I haven't seen any of his other ones. The reason I watched it is because of the Sweet Tea No Shade guys and Angela Lansbury, and they were so right. So then I did Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. There is hella crochet in that. She has like a knit scarf on and a crocheted hat and a crocheted tea cozy. It was so much fun. So that was a good one. Dial M for Murder, Alfred Hitchcock, is one of my cousin's favorites. I watched it, and then she told me that the husband in Dial M for Murder, the one who actually like wanted to murder his wife or have his wife murdered, is The same actor that's in Escape from Witch Mountain, which I just watched. Is it Escape from Witch Mountain? I think so. Which I just watched not too long ago because we have Disney Plus, and I watched all the old movies because I love them. The Sound of Music, which I don't know why. I've never seen that movie. I know all the songs. How do I know all these songs, but I've never seen this movie? So that was really good. I mean, I stayed up until like 3 a.m. one night watching that one. The Graduate, which was so awkward. It was so awkward. That was another one that Jana suggested that I watch. It was just so awkward. I don't know why. Like Mrs. Robinson. Of course, I love Simon and Garfunkel. I love that. What a great soundtrack that is. Movie soundtrack. It's just, wow. I tried to watch Samson and Delilah. I think I made it maybe 20 minutes. I just couldn't do it. Angela Lansbury's only in it for a very short time. And I watched it long enough to see her. She was like a little hottie patati back then. Angela Lansbury. You know, my first Angela Lansbury experience was Murder, She Wrote, because my mom loved that show. When I was a little kid, I thought she was this old lady. They made her look like such an old lady in that show, and she was not old. I can't remember how old she was, but she definitely was not old in Murder, She Wrote, which you can't watch anywhere. You have to pay for it. Samson and Delilah, I just couldn't do it. So those are the movies that I've been watching. The movies that I want to watch that I can't find anywhere as a watch it now, like you have to buy them, is The Harvey Girls, which is also an Angela Lansbury movie, and Judy Garland's in it. And I love Judy Garland. And before you ask me, no, I will not watch that movie with Renee Zellweger because I don't watch sad movies. I don't watch sad movies that make me cry. I won't watch them. I can't. It like sends me into terrible depression and it like rocks my world, sad stuff. And I know that the Judy Garland movie will do that because it's real and I love her and I know that she has this like super tragic Hollywood story and I've read it. I don't need to watch it on the screen. The other thing I've been doing in quarantine is I was invited by the Fiber Hustle guys, Aaron and Chip. If you don't watch the Fiber Hustle podcast, you should totally watch them. I love them. They're my West Coast peeps. Aaron crochets and knits and Chip quilts. I was going to say crochets. Chip quilts, beautiful quilts. They invited me to play bingo, and I had no idea what to expect. They had printed out cards. There were prizes. We played 3 games, and I won one of the bingos. So you'll get to see that prize in the future. It was so much fun. There were like 25 people playing bingo that they'd invited their friends. There were podcasters on there. I recognized some people. Z was on there. She won one of the games. The Needles at the Ready guys were there. Carrie was there from the Creative Obsession podcast that made me my card. You totally need to go watch her. It's just been so much fun. I've been loving quarantine. The only thing, honest, that I miss is my family. Like, I want to hug Cole. I miss him so much. And I want to give my dad a hug. It's his birthday. Dang it. I want to give him a hug, which he's going to be so mad at me. I sent him his birthday card. It's going to be late because I didn't mail it until Tuesday, which today is Thursday, and that was dumb. But I filled it with glitter or sequins and a balloon. And I was like, here's your party since we can't have a real one. The sequins and confetti and stuff's going to go everywhere and he's not going to be happy. He'll be like, damn it, Chevis. That is it, you guys. This, I told you, is a super long episode, but hey, we're quarantined. What else you got to do, right? Until we meet again, enjoy your crafting, watch some good movies, and cheers.